Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Allevo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg. Under cloudy skies, I've got 45 degrees on the barn thermometer, working towards a high in the 50s today. With the relatively calm conditions, it's actually pleasant to be working outside. This quick calendar reminder, the Jackson County Regional Livestock Market will have a bred cow sale coming up tomorrow. That's Friday, November the 21st at 6 o'clock p.m. Visit jcrlm.com, your livestock authority. Well, the EPA recently clarified the waters of the U.S. rule under the Clean Water Act. National Cattlemen's Beef Association Chief Counsel Mary Thomas Hart shares more.
Coming into the new administration, we kind of urged EPA to let WOTUS lie, focus on other priorities. But we said, if you're going to rewrite the WOTUS rule, if you're going to give us a new definition of WOTUS, make it really good. And certainly EPA delivered on that promise. So today we saw an announcement of a new proposed WOTUS definition that very nearly follows NCBA's exact recommendations, not only to EPA and prior administrations, but also to the Supreme Court in our amicus brief written in 2023.
Can you share some things in the new ruling that are more friendly to agriculture?
I think it's important to start with the Sackett decision that we got from the Supreme Court pretty recently that put EPA in a much smaller box when it comes to federally or asserting federal jurisdiction over waters and water bodies and wetlands across the United States. The unfortunate part of that decision was that it was dropped during an administration that was maybe reluctant at best to follow it. So we had some kind of half-hearted attempts to implement that rule, and that was what we saw in the WOTUS definition that came out of the Biden administration. Fortunately, we have an administration that really saw that Supreme Court decision for what it was and worked really hard to put together a definition that balances protection of our nation's natural resources with protecting the interests of farmers and ranchers. So I think the most important thing that we see in this rule is an attempt or an effort to make sure that any landowner, not just a technical expert, not just an attorney, not just a wetland specialist, can go out, look at water features on their property, and at least make a preliminary determination about whether that feature is going to be subject to federal permitting.
Again, those comments on the updated WOTUS ruling from the EPA from National Cattlemen's Beef Association Chief Counsel Mary Thomas Hart. Well, let's get an update on your Thursday weather forecast brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com.
We've got dry weather for the most part here today, but we may not see beautiful sunshine in all areas. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at your forecast update. Our atmosphere seems capped right now, making it difficult to get clouds to move out very quickly. I do think we see better sunshine potential for this afternoon than we saw yesterday, but we're also watching a system build to our west and southwest that's going to throw clouds back in overnight tonight into tomorrow, especially in southern parts of Ohio. From I-70 southward tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with on-again, off-again rain showers, actually probably from overnight tonight through tomorrow and into early Saturday, anywhere from a tenth to 3/4 of an inch easily, with coverage at 90% from US 30 southward. And then you get into the northern part of the state, not much happening there. The weekend dries down for Saturday night through Sunday, and we stay dry early next week, Monday, Tuesday, before rains return. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Taking a quick look at some of the top trending headlines at ohioagnet.com, there's a 2026 Soil Health webinar series that's been scheduled. You can go online, check out the dates, and follow the link to get registered for that. Also, a great article by Vinyak Shedeker from Ohio State and Rajveer Dhillon from Central State University, taking a look at what kind of growing seasons are the worst for grain crops when it's too wet or too dry. They've got multiple years of data they've pulled together to share. And finally, nominations are now being accepted for the 2026 Certified Crop Advisor of the Year. That award sponsored by the Ohio CCA program. Nominations must be submitted by January the 15th. And again, all the details at ohioagnet.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back to take a look at your markets after this.
When you're buying seed, there's more to a transaction than money. You're exchanging time and trust, hoping each decision adds up at harvest. Seed Consultants sales professionals don't take that lightly. With products made to excel in the Eastern Corn Belt and agronomic knowledge that stands up to the test, we're all about the same things you are: reliability and results. Buy into a better seed experience. Visit seedconsultants.com to view our corn and soybean lineup.
Let's get an analysis now on what's going on in the markets with Leist Mercantile.
This is Ryan Metzger with Leist Mercantile, providing you with your USDA weekly export sales. The following sales date back to the week ending October 2nd. The announced export sales of corn were recorded at 2.26 million metric tons, which was above industry expectations and well above the 1.02 million metric tons of weekly sales we need to see to keep with USDA export targets. On soybeans, we have announced export sales at 924,000 metric tons, which was inside industry expectations and ahead of the 666,000 metric tons needed to keep with the USDA export target.
Thanks, Ryan. Turning now to those markets brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. December corn is trading down 2 cents at $4.27 3/4. January beans are 2 cents lower at $11.34 1/4, and wheat for July trading down 3 3/4 at $5.63 1/4. In livestock, December live cattle are down $2.17 1/2, but December lean hogs are up 50 cents. This is the Ohio AgNet.